I really like making silly guesses about what Genshin's characters will look like before their designs are released. I did this with Durin, some character skins, and so on. A lot of people hate the designs, sometimes me included, but when you actually sit down to create them, it turns out to be incredibly difficult. I think the most important thing is finding enough references and a concept. But sometimes you get so attached to one concept that you can't come up with anything new. That's why I don't make more than one version, even though it would be useful if possible. I just like to have fun and then see how wrong I was when the character design comes out. That I end one of the lines in the new event, we learn a little about her husband from Elisa. He's a cosmic traveler. Many people also say his name, Kleiner, is a direct reference to the Little Prince, so I tried to incorporate that into the design that I focused on Klee's references, Elisa's of course. Klee is their daughter, and unless something changes, unless it turns out she was born in a test tube or something, he's her biological father and should at least resemble her somewhat. But there's a problem. Klee looks exactly like her mother, down to her hair color, eye color, skin color, and even ears. So, if I were to base my design on them, I'd end up creating a brother for Elisa or Klee, and that's not what I wanted. However, there still had to be some connection. I didn't look at any other people's concepts or anything like that before making my design, because that would obviously confuse me, and since I rarely design, it would likely have had a strong influence on me. And that's clearly not what I wanted. I based it on the Little Prince because, 1. Who doesn't love the Little Prince? At least I really love him, obviously. Point 2. I really love drawing blondes. I'm a blonde myself. The Little Prince is always blonde in my drawings, and Alice and Klee are also blondes. Unlike them, however, I made his hair much more yellow so it would more closely resemble the typical hair color of the Little Prince. His hair was the first thing I drew. Any concept also starts with a silhouette. For his silhouette, I decided a cloak would look nice. Hoyovers love them, and if you consider the idea of Kleiner traveling through worlds, you might recall Honkai Star Rail, another game from this company, where mostly male characters wear cloaks like that, so perhaps it was a joke or something, but I decided to add it too. For the cloak, I based it on one of the Little Prince's drawings, of course, but I also added other details. I thought their whole family should be associated with red, and he should have red elements. So, his sleeves, ribbons, and so on all became this exact shade. His cloak became blue because it was supposed to reflect the cosmic theme and the sky. I wanted to add a myriad of stars to enhance this effect, but I decided to abandon it for now and focus on more prominent elements. The main color of his clothing is white, maybe a little sky blue. I thought it looked quite aristocratic that I added a loincloth to which is attached a small pouch where he could carry a notebook and take notes or draw. He could write letters this way for Klee and Alice, but it's also another reference to the Little Prince. And his boots are Klee's boots, just with gold laces and stars. And at that moment I realized he looks awfully like Albedo. I completely forgot about him and didn't think about him until halfway through, and then it was too late to fix anything, plus I thought it was a bit symbolic. Klee's older brother will look like her father. There's something to that, right? Also, the drawing theme could be shared by all of them. I can already imagine Albedo, Klee, Durin, and Kleiner all drawing something together while Alice blows up and experiments on hilichurls, and then their drawings come to life and they all have fun together. Why not? It's all just fantasy. The yellow ribbons with stars at the ends are a reference to Alice's own design. She has these axes at the ends of her hair, like a hair tie, that tie it around her hair. But unlike her, his hair is tied around a tie. And the star on his chest is also a mixture of his star theme, and if you haven't noticed, she also has a star on her chest. Many characters have something in place of their chest or heart. For the Wanderer, it's the eye of a god and a feather. For Durin, it's literally his heart. For Albedo, it's a symbol of alchemy. For other characters, it's something else entirely, sometimes less obvious and symbolic. His star carries the same message and is paired with Alice's, as I already said. His eyes also have pupils shaped like yellow stars. And on his chest, next to the star, but on his jacket, are his initials, KK, which are his signature and which are so important. I think that I know Elisa designed the Dodoko for her daughter, but I wanted to connect it to him somehow. Ultimately, I like the idea that he has his own Dodoko, but one that resembles a fox, at least in color. After I finished this concept, I wanted to experiment with colors, so I have 3 more versions with slight variations. I'll quickly describe each one. The blue design alludes to deep, cold space, but then we lose the blonde hair, which is a signature feature of this family. Red elements also remain in all the looks to emphasize the pyro connection. In this look, he seems more melancholic and distant. Just as stars can appear to us as different colors, so he does here. The second version is simply a slightly more saturated version. His hair appears more red, and his clothes resemble the signature color of adventurers. The red becomes slightly more saturated, taking on a different hue. The third version is the main one I'm sticking with and was the original one. We've covered everything about him. The fourth option is simply a change of cloak color and a different shade of red. Green is always associated with the Little Prince, so I thought it was important to include this option as well. Designing a character we don't know anything about is a lot of fun because it's unencumbered and essentially gives a lot of room for thought and imagination. Besides, it's obvious I won't be able to nail his design no matter how hard I try, so it's best to just have fun. If you have any ideas or comments about this design, Kleiner himself, his family's designs, or anything else, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. Maybe next time I'll make a video about the design of a human Dwalin.